All right, it's noon. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the briefing for the December 14th Finance Executive Committee meeting. It'll be the last one for the year. Let's just jump right into the agenda. First item up will be communications. We do have an appointee to the Defined Benefit Pension Board, Mr. Brand, who I understand will be at our meeting. So we'll go ahead and take that. Well, that's already first. We'll go ahead and get him in and out of there. Any questions or comments from my colleagues on that one? Okay. No items for first read this time. That's pretty exciting. So second read, we'll go right into it. So first item is 22-018-83. This is Parks North impact fee budget by transferring remaining balances. Who from the administration will be speaking to this? Is it Mr. Voss?
Yeah, Doug Voss will be speaking to it.
Okay. All right. Does this paper essentially just put money back in that's uncommits it so that it's available for new investments or new projects?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then impact fee parks are limited to acquisitions or actual structure and improvements as well?
Yeah, they're limited to park acquisition or construction. They can be used for both. Correct.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't realize that was you, Commissioner. Any questions or requests from my colleagues on this paper? Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any distance proximity requirements for these reallocations?
Can you clarify your question, please? There was
leftover. Well, if there was leftover money from a project at Smith and First, is the remainder subject to the proximity to that original location? And for transportation, right?
Yeah,
that's
it would
state law.
It would be within the district that the funds were received. So if it was like the north area, then it would stay within the north area. With this in the whichever kind of impact fee area, it would stay within that impact fee area. It wouldn't necessarily be within proximity of like that specific park area, but it would be within the area, the catchment area of the impact fee.
So parks is not subject to the same kind of proximity requirement
Correct.
that transportation is. So I'm kind of a nut case when it comes to transportation fees. So I'll take a close look at that.
Yeah, and I think to your point, parks may be a little different in the sense of we have to find land where land is available, and transportation's able to do things differently. So I think that would just be my only thing there.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Shook. Any other questions or requests? All right, we'll move on to the next one, 22-018-84. This is amendment number 4 to go to month for citywide pest control services. Who will be speaking to this?
Good afternoon, Councilmember Juan. Commissioner Santel will be speaking to this.
Very good. Okay. And I understand part of the issue is we've got an active procurement out. So if someone can give us an update on all that, well, to the extent y'all are able to on Wednesday, that'd be great.
Will do.
Thank you. Other questions or requests? All right, item 22-018-85. This is JMG Realty for property management at 133 Trinity. Will Commissioner Santel be speaking to this as well, Mr. Davis?
Yeah. Yes, he will.
All right, and this has a retroactive component, so just make sure he's prepared to speak to that. And then I do have a question about for him about the extension terms, if it's just similar to the existing terms, or if there were any changes to that. Again, that's the compensation schedule.
Okay.
All right, other questions or requests from my colleagues on this paper? All right, item number 5, which is 22-018-86, Council Member Amos's paper. This is regarding extending family leave. Is there someone from the administration that's been working with Councilmember Amos on this that will be speaking to this?
Good afternoon, Councilman.
This is CFO Bala. We had conversations with Department of Human Resources, and we'd like to ask for this to be held while we take more time to analyze the legislation and see the impacts to the city.
Okay, I think.
This is Deputy Chief of Staff Pace. I've also spoken with Councilmember Amos.
Okay, so we're holding this. I agree. The things I was would need on this one would be the financial impact, and then also kind of how this wraps up into the commissioner's just overall strategy, both with regard to the pay and class results and then the other non-salary benefits. So yeah, I'm happy to hold this as we compile that information. And Mr. Pace, thanks. I'm glad you spoke to the council member already. So, all right. Any other questions or comments on that one? All right, moving on. Item 6, which is 22-0-1888. Item number 9, which is 22-0-1895, and item 10, 22-0-1896 are all carry forward papers. So we'll take them hopefully as a block on Wednesday. Pretty straightforward. Any questions or comments on these? All right. Item number 7, 22-0-1893, Councilmember Overstreet and Westmoreland. These are APS, essentially quick claim deeds. Who from the administration will be speaking to this?
That'd be Josh Humphreys, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. I guess for me, just kind of an update to accompany this in terms of all of, if these are the last of the deeds or if there's still any outstanding, been out of the loop on this one for a period here. So it'd be helpful to just get a quick refresher on what these mean in terms of the overall package of deeds that we may or may not hold it any longer. So if someone could pass that along to Mr. Humphreys, just so that he'll be aware for Wednesday. Other questions or requests from my colleagues on those? All right, 22-0-1894. This is the COLA paper that pretty much all members of council have signed onto. I'm assuming that Commissioner Smith will be speaking to this. Is that correct?
If she doesn't speak to this, we'll have Deputy Commissioner DC Nichols will speak to it.
Okay.
You were going to say something, Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Nichols?
No, I was just going to reiterate the same thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess what will be helpful for me is, and for us to discuss on Wednesday, is just the timing, when employees can expect that come the beginning of the new year and all that. So that just we have that conversation on Wednesday on air. Any other requests or questions from my colleagues on those, on that paper? All right. Takes us to resolutions. First one is 22-R4797. Whole slew of council members requesting, this is just urging Congress to reintroduce and pass the Youth Promise Act. Any questions on this? I don't know if Ms. Mitchell, Kenyatta Mitchell, I know she's going to be presenting the legislative packet later in the meeting, but just if there are any concerns or additional context that she wants to provide on this one, if Mr. Pace, if someone could let her know, just that this is coming through on Wednesday. All right, we'll keep moving. Item number 12 is 22-R4800. This is the watershed refund paper. I understand that we are going to have a substitute this next cycle, this Wednesday for this.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. And any questions or requests from my colleagues? Oh, who will be speaking to that?
I will. This is Jonathan Williams.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Sure.
All right. Other questions or requests on that one? All right, 22-R4833. This is a renewal number 2 with Frasca and Associates for financial advisor services. All right, who will be speaking to this from finance or the airport?
I CFO Ball, I'll be speaking to this, or maybe Dr. Wilson. I have to leave at 2:30 on
Okay.
Wednesday. So if we get to it, I'll speak to it.
Okay. Questions or requests from my colleagues? Okay. All right, that takes us to dual referreds. We do have one new one. And this is, we'll see what happens in CDHS, but Mr. Bond's paper looking at possible acquisition of property at 303 Parkway Drive Northeast. Oh, this is Wellstar Atlanta Medical Center. Okay, interesting. All right, we'll see what happens in CDHS and if it gets moved out of there over to us. All right. I think so. Papers under held. We do have a number that will be moving forward. First one is item number 23. This is 22-R4035. This is the Cafe 55 original paper. We're going to file this as the contract has already been, or I think a different vendor has been authorized for that. And then item number 26, this is 22-R4250, Councilmember Norwood's paper to support the Chastain Horse Park through the bond proceeds now that we have them in. And then item 31 is 22-R4694, the legislative packet. So I know that Ms. Mitchell could not be on the call today on our briefing, but I think Ms. Lindo, you were going to reach out to her office, or Mr. Pace, if you could, just to make sure we get a copy of that by the end of the day today, so Ms. Lindo can include that in all the committee member packages tomorrow.
Sure will, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Did I miss anything in terms of other papers that need to come off of held? Okay. All right. The last comment I'll make is that we will, Ms. Lindo's going to be circulating the final copy of the goals and objectives for 2022. We've done a pretty good job with knocking a bunch of them out. There are a couple that look like we will suggest to next year's FEC committee to pick back up. And it'll be just a brief acknowledgement or conversation about that on Wednesday. We won't need to go through each one of them. Anything else from either my colleagues, committee members, or the administration in terms of preparing for Wednesday's meeting? All right, very good. Y'all have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see everybody Wednesday at 1:30.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye, y'all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.